Puerto Rico is in a situation right now where they will not be able to pay back their debt. There will be massive levels of foreclosure, or the government will bail them out entirely. What do you think? You came here for the truth, so let me unveil that for you. Today we are going to talk about the situation in Puerto Rico. I want to get into dark money and so much more. Let's begin. Now, Puerto Rico is bracing for another blow, a housing meltdown that could far surpass the worst of the foreclosure crisis that devastated Phoenix, Las Vegas, Southern California, South Florida in the past decade. If current numbers hold, check this out. Puerto Rico is headed for a foreclosure epidemic that could rival what happened in Detroit, where abandoned homes became almost as plentiful as occupied ones. Now, Detroit is an extreme example, but it could be the blueprint for future cities. That could very well happen. About 1/3 of the island's 425,000 homeowners are behind on their mortgage payments. That's to banks and Wall Street firms that previously bought up the distressed mortgages. Sound familiar? Tens of thousands have not made payments for some months. 90,000 borrowers became delinquent as a consequence of the hurricane. Just a couple more stats, and I want to talk about this. Puerto Rico's 35% foreclosure and delinquency rate is more than double of the 14.4% national rate during the depths of the housing implosion in January 2010. Of course, there's no prospect of the problem solving itself or quickly. Now, 35% foreclosure and delinquency rate, there is no chance for resolution. There's no way they will get bailed out, or there will be massive foreclosures and a continuing influx of people going to the mainland. That's already happening, but it will definitely speed up as a result of what's happening here. Those individuals who are delinquent are going to foreclose. That's the way it is. They haven't paid for 30 days, 90 days, and then it goes on. They have to eventually kick them out. And so they end up leaving because, quite frankly, the situation there is quite bad. No power, and homes are just devastated. Infrastructure is devastated. They just pack up whatever they can find and they leave. That's what's happening. And although I don't think that Puerto Rico is necessarily a big piece of the puzzle, what you can tell in that all of these different crises that occurs, you find it starts with something small and always cascades. It always creates an avalanche out of a snowball. All right. Now, you may know of Nomi Prinz, who, from her books, from her articles, from interviews, but look at what she wrote here and then tell me if this doesn't sound like the money GPS. All right. The dark money comes from central banks. In essence, central banks print money or electronically fabricate money by buying bonds or stocks. They use other tools like adjusting interest rate policy and currency agreements with other central banks to pump liquidity into the financial system. That's basically what I say on every single one of my videos. That dark money goes into the biggest private banks and financial institutions first. From there, it spreads out into seemingly infinite directions, affecting different financial assets in different ways. Okay? Hope you're with me so far. Yet these dark money flows stretch around the world according to a pattern of power, influence, and of course, wealth for secret groups. To be a part of the dark money elite means to have control over many. How elite is a matter of degree. So what she's saying here, first paragraph, basically, they print money, they buy bonds and stocks. They adjust interest rates according to what they need. They work together with other central banks around the world in concert to basically pump. They're pumping money right now. Now, while the Federal Reserve has stopped printing, they're keeping it at about 4.5 trillion, no big deal, of course. And they are at this level while other central banks have been ramping up the printing and buying US stocks directly. These are not built upon conspiracy theories, and the contrary, alliances make perfect sense and operate publicly. Even better, they're exclusive dealings, and the consequences that follow the foreseeable, but only if you understand how the system works and follow the dark money flows. So she's made some excellent mentions in this article. If you're interested, you can read it. Essentially, she completely agrees with my analysis of the way the financial system works. All right. The crash of 2008, debt burdens, decreasing income replacement rates, and the demise of employer pensions are a few of the trends that have pushed the number of non-retirees to record levels. So what we're talking about here is people that are simply not going to retire. The participation rate for those 75 and older rose from 6.4% in 2006 to 8.4% in 2016. It's likely to reach 10.8% in 2026. Now, if you as an individual, I cover this all the time, if you as an individual want to work as long as you possibly can, that's totally fine. I think that is a great thing. However, if you are forced to work, that's not good. Simply because the system has been built in such a way to make you continue on this path, that you are forced into it whether you like it or not. Disney Fox deal. Lo and behold, 5,000 to 10,000 jobs will likely be shed. Now, it is the media who is, they are simply part of this collusion, part of the ensuring that you don't get to know the truth. I've shown this chart a few times. You'll see Fox and Disney. But essentially what we have is a very, very small handful of companies that are basically controlling all of the media. Whether it's, any of these common channels and programs and websites and everything, they all have to push out a particular agenda, and there will be more consolidation. It's going to happen. In doing so, we have less and less of a chance of achieving liberty. That's a big problem as far as I'm concerned. So what I would suggest is that we need to look into the financial system and truly understand the way it works. But you don't need to get into the details of it. Break it down into its most simple form. That's what I do here at the Money GPS. I try to take something that's very complicated and make it simple. Make it easy to digest. Otherwise, you're convoluting it. You're making it all confusing. And that's what the quants want to do, the PhDs that work for these financial institutions that don't understand the thing about reality. But here they are. Don't fall for the trap. Gain knowledge, Make your wise decisions based on your own information that you've gotten from many different sources, and hopefully try to attain whatever it is that your goals are. That's all for this video. If you found it informative, please give me a thumbs up. Last but not least, if you found the video informative, I know you will find my books, The Money GPS and my newer release, Global Economic Collapse, even more informative. You can flip through these books. If you go over to Amazon, they have a look inside feature. It's going to allow you to flip through the pages of these books to see if you like them. Take care.